A car that you've never needed to drive before in Gran Turismo 7 until now. This is a Genesis G70 3.3T all-wheel drive P package. I know it's a long name, but it's actually a really good car, especially when you fully upgraded like the one I have right here. So what we have is obviously all-wheel drive. We have an engine that produces 710 brake horsepower, which isn't too shabby. Now obviously with it being all-wheel drive, we do have that sign of understeer, and that front wheel will light up when you're trying to take it through a corner quite aggressively. So weight wise, we are also like under 1300 kg, so the vehicle is still decently lightweight. It sounds really good, and the handling isn't bad at all. Like there's no moments where I'm like, you know, it could be better, but I'll say that about any car. But here we are, the Genesis G70, not a bad car at all. And you gotta remember, you can pick this up from Brand Central whenever you like, and it just allows you to experience a good vehicle. But before update 1.62, there wasn't really a need. It was really just a car that if you wanted to try the Genesis out, it was there. Now we see a 1 minute 38.5. There was no, now as I was saying, there was no real desire, there was no need for you to go and check this vehicle out, and that will change with update 1.62. Now we see the engine swap that we have for it is one of the best value for money engine swaps, because not only are you spending 250,000 credits, but you are getting 1199 brake horsepower, and that's before upgrades. This is no other than the Windsor 351 Maverick swap. So this Genesis is going to be an absolute rocket, because this is one of the engines you use to get your car to have one of the highest top speeds in Gran Turismo 7. So now when it comes to the parts that we have available for the Windsor V8, well, we don't actually have that many parts. But for one, I mean, we had the racing silencer, and well, your fully customizable ECU that takes us to 1283 brake horsepower, and then the crown jewel, the high RPM turbocharger, because when we put this in, well, the power shoots up to 1408 brake horsepower. Okay, so first experience, we were already in 5th before I got control of the car. Just look at the speed. .323 there before I decided, you know what, I need brake. So the vehicle is fast. The vehicle is very fast. Oh no, but this understeer. There we go, airborne on the brakes. On the brakes, the car getting a bit squally. So we see at this power level, yay, the vehicle is a lot trickier to handle. It's not as controllable. Obviously we have double the power. First gear is absolutely useless in this vehicle now. I mean, look, you can catch the slide if you're able to and actually have some fun with the vehicle. But the thing is, in the lower gears, the minute you get on the power, it just hits red line. So you're forever shifting. But obviously you can tweak this by playing around with your gearbox settings. But oh my word, is it really good. So lap time wise, what we are looking at, we just ran a 1:35. We can do faster, and that's spun out. So what we're actually gonna do, we're gonna hop on over to controller quickly and just see, because I'm better on controller. So let's see now, and that's a 1 minute. Let's see, that's a 1 minute 30.1. This car can easily run into a 1 minute 29s even with my skill level, and I'm not the best. So we see now, there we go. If I had a faster last sector, it could have been a 1 minute 29.5. This is an absolute beast, especially the more you drive it, the better or the easier it becomes. But I mean, just take a look at this vehicle. Not only does it look incredible in my opinion, but now with the Maverick swap in it, just look at how it pulls. Obviously, when you go on the brakes and you just slam on the brakes, the vehicle will slide out wide, which is something you do need to watch out for. And with it being four-wheel drive, that understeer can sneak up and throw you off a bit, so you do also need to be careful about that. But it all really just depends on how you set the vehicle up. You need to find what works best for you. Obviously, it's gonna take some time, and I can't really say, okay, this is the setup for you, because your driving style is different to mine. But this vehicle has tons of power, obviously. And there we go. We were completely airborne there. I didn't even realize that. But even the way it lands, and it's so responsive. It's so epic to drive. That's the best way to put it. And the thing is, when it comes to the vehicles you can run against, honestly, you can run against some of the fastest cars in the game, because with the power level it has, it allows you to do just that. That's why this is a vehicle that I will recommend. This is a reason to drive the Genesis, because I mean, look at how rapid it is. It pulls like an absolute freight train, and it's just a very enjoyable experience. Plus, if you're a bit of a daredevil, well, you can take the torque vectoring differential, slap that thing to 95 in the rear, and drift it about. Yes, it is a lot of power. It's gonna be an absolute handful, but if you're up for that challenge, by all means, you still have the ability to do that. It's such a fast vehicle. It really is such a great vehicle. And the fact that the engine swap is only 250,000 credits, it's absolutely affordable, and it is such a track weapon. What I'm doing is looking around the GT700 to just prove to you how bad this vehicle is on fuel consumption. So we're gonna slap the car on fuel map level 6, and we're gonna short shift, do all of that. We have de-tuned the vehicle, so now that's just over 800, almost 900 horsepower, and see how good it actually performs. So shift up early, super early, and we're gonna see how much fuel we're left with at the end of the first lap. Because for me, for a vehicle to be considered for this event, it has to do at least 3 laps before it goes into pits. And that means you need to have over 70% or at least 66% of fuel remaining at the end of the first lap. So we're gonna see now if that's possible with this, and well, just how far we get. Right now we see it is in its elements, is absolutely climbing. I cannot shift up because we're already in 7th. Never mind, I did not know this was an 8 speed. We're in 323 kilometers per hour there before slamming on the brakes. Yours requires a lot of gears. So we just crossed the line after a 60 lap time of 4 minutes and 5 seconds, which is honestly on pace. But what caught me off guard is the fact that we have a fuel consumption of 66% left, which is exactly what we are aiming for. So maybe it's not that bad a fuel consumption anyway, well, as long as your fuel saving. So I'm actually quite surprised. As you can see, I am finishing the event off in first place with a gap of over 2 minutes between myself and second place. The vehicle is able to complete 3 laps before needing to dive into a pits, which is something I really did not expect. But you have to be extremely careful with the way you use your fuel saving tactics. Lap times weren't the fastest, obviously, because I'm shifting up super early and not really letting that high RPM turbocharger come into effect. But even with me doing that, well, we were still getting well over 300 kilometers per hour. While at this event, we can see first place, and this is it, 825,000 credits. So we turned a massive profit by engine swapping the Genesis. So this is a very good engine swap. I mean, as you can see, you can use it for money grinding. It's super exciting to drive, and it really gives a valid reason. It gives you an incentive to actually get behind this Genesis G70. So with this being said, let me know your thoughts and opinions of this car in the comment section down below, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.